What is up, everybody? It's Sam, and we are back with another episode of Pessimistic at Best, the podcast. I have my friend Claire on the pod.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm so excited. I'm so sorry we did this on literally the hottest day ever in all of history.
It is quite literally 100 degrees. It's steamy in here.
I know. I'm like actively sweating.
Yeah. Yes.
So when we were in the kitchen making dinner, I was like, I think I might die here.
You're struggling. I was while we were eating, I was like, I am so sorry for the way I look right now. And
so anybody who's watching the video podcast, you get a special treat. We're two sweaty girls. But no, I'm glad that you came over. Someday I'll have you over like when it's nicer out.
It's lovely out.
Yeah. I think this is my first time living in an apartment where all I have are window units.
Yeah, it's a tough life.
It is.
The window units are.
I miss central AC.
Yeah.
What a gift.
I grew up like with central AC.
Same.
My dad is lovely man, love him to death, very cheap.
Oh, totally. Aren't
So
all
cheap.
dads? That's
so
kind of like
cheap.
a staple.
Very much back when I was growing up kind of dad.
Absolutely.
So we never turned the AC on.
Okay, kind of same.
Never. Like unless it was like this, like unless it was like 95 degrees, which was
Yeah.
not happening in Michigan very often.
True.
During our childhood, at least.
Yes.
Now it is.
Things
But
have
yeah,
changed.
things have changed to the world, you guys. So I do feel like I maybe am a little conditioned to be okay
That's
without
nice.
AC, but the older I get,
I know. I'm feeling that way too. I guess my parents were like that a little bit, but I feel like my mom always got the best of him and was like, you know what? It's 85. We're turning her up.
yeah, I don't know how my mother dealt with that, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, because they're older, the AC is
Totally.
consistently on. I was like, that's maybe not fair. I was like, what about
I know. What
when
about
I
us?
was a child? What about my life?
Truly. Well, and if it were up to me, like, honestly, I don't think my apartment would ever be more than like a 68.
No. Yeah.
That's what I like.
Yeah, I like a crisp air.
Me
Yeah.
too. And I'm a hot sleeper. So like
Yes.
literally last night James was coming to bed and I was like, I'm so sorry. You actually can't sleep in here.
Please don't touch me ever.
You
Do
have to
not.
sleep out here tonight. And he was like, you're kidding, right? And I was like, kind of, but also
But
not.
also not.
Yeah.
I like feel like I've been having like night sweats a lot.
Same.
Like waking up so
drenched.
sweaty, and I'm like, it's like, I mean, not today, but like it is normally not that hot. And I was like,
know.
I'm Googling it. Like, is
Right.
something wrong
Is
with
this
me?
early onset
Yeah,
menopause?
like, am I having menopause as a 27-year-old? Like, what's going on?
I know. No, that happens to me too. We actually recently spent a lot of money on our bedding to get like the cooling
sheet.
per
That's
cal,
lovely.
whatever.
That's nice.
Yeah. James is not a big fan. He actually also, if it were up to him, he would sleep literally in the nude, which like respect, but also
Yeah.
I'm sleeping in there too.
Yeah, I'm actually right next to you, so maybe don't.
And he's also he's a relatively hairy person, which I
Yeah.
think leads to kind of maybe
Body
producing
heat.
more oil.
Oh, okay.
So he's greasy.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
He's a
you are
greasy boy."
greasing up my expensive ass sheets.
I spent a lot of money on this. Did a lot
Yeah.
of research on these sheets.
Truly.
Yeah.
So hours on Google and a pretty penny. So I was like, we can't be
Yeah.
doing this anymore. And I'm like, you have to sleep in a shirt and boxers.
Yeah, we need at least boxers on. Like,
Yeah. Which the other day we were like out coming out from dinner or something, and he was like a little bit chilly, and I was like, are you kidding? It's so nice
Yeah,
out.
it's
And he
gorgeous
was
out.
like, my homeostasis is all fucked up because you're making me sleep in clothes.
you're like, all right, get a grip.
Literally. So
That's crazy.
I know.
That's funny. So you did research on the cooling do you like them? Are they
Extremely. They're really
Okay,
nice.
okay.
I will say they are hard to clean.
Okay.
Hence the grease issue.
Yes, so that's
I
that's
also
a
don't think
problem.
that I wash my bedding as often as you're
no,
supposed to.
I will admit this on this podcast. I definitely do not.
No, I think you're supposed to do it like once a week.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
maybe
a-
once a month at best.
Yeah, I'm like a 3-week
Yeah.
3-week, 4-week.
I'm not proud.
No, I'm not. This is a bad habit that I have.
Yes.
I'm also not a
Safe
top
space.
sheet girl.
Okay, same. Me
Because
neither.
I feel
Comforter
like
only.
I don't know if as a child I felt like I got like tangled up in it. It like gave me
too.
like a lot of stress.
No,
like,
same.
Felt trapped a lot. Like,
and you wake up because I move in my sleep.
Same.
I'm active.
Yes,
whatever's going on.
Whatever's going on, it's not my business, but I am moving.
And so I would wake up, like tangled all up in it, and then it's like, okay, well, this is sort of disconcerting.
Yeah, so I certainly should be washing my duvet
Same.
cover or comfort, whatever it's called.
I know.
And that is not happening.
I recently
at all.
saw a video of like, I think, I can't remember his last name, Bobby from Queer Eye.
Oh yes, yeah,
Whatever
yeah,
his last name
yeah.
is. Doing this video on like how to actually wash your like actual pillow. And I was like, wow, I've literally never done that.
Couldn't say I've ever done that.
And you like soak them in the tub and like the amount of dirt and grime.
Wow.
And I was like, so that's actually
That's maybe something I should look
yeah,
into.
I know.
That's crazy.
The things you learn as an adult.
Yeah,
Hate it.
little concerning actually.
It's like, why didn't everyone tell me this?
Yeah, I don't need to be involved
No.
in that. I think also dusting as an adult. Like I remember
my
like my mom
God.
being like, we have to dust the house, and I was like no we don't.
No,
Like
we
what's going
don't.
on? And like now like
Yeah.
being like relatively established, I would say I'm like, oh my God,
I
truly the
know.
amount of dust
It's
that's
really
happening.
collecting.
Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh no.
No, I feel that. And also having cats, I will say, if you
Yeah.
are thinking about getting cats, they just produce
So much.
So much
There's so much
stuff.
going on. Yeah.
there's like hair and dust everywhere. And like, I think cat litter adds to it.
Oh yeah.
There are like these little tumbleweeds like flowing across the
and you're like,
home. James and I
should
recently
take care
got
of
one of
that.
those like little dustbuster vacuums, like really small.
yeah.
And the way that I'm just like running around the whole house, like,
You're like, I got it. Got one.
and it actually has turned into a bit of a game, but sometimes it's like maybe just break out the real vacuum.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we could just
Yeah.
do the chores. Do the chores.
But no, I feel that. I know. It's actually funny. Like, this is the first house that I feel like I've taken like pretty good care of.
Yeah.
Our other apartments, they were nice. I just like wasn't a fully fledged human.
Yet. Yeah. So I've lived in my apartment for I think 3 years now, or almost 3
that's
years.
a long time.
A long time, but it still like sometimes doesn't feel like
Totally.
my space or like my apartment. And I think that's because I used to live. So my apartment has been rotating lots of people. So like my cousin and one of my best friends from high school.
Is it a 3-bedroom?
No, it's just a 2-bedroom.
Okay.
So my cousin, who's also one of my best friends, and then one of my other best friends from high school, they lived in that apartment.
Okay.
My friend moved out. I moved in with my cousin. Then my cousin moved out, and then Kira moved in.
Okay. Wow.
So it's been a lot of rotating. But so majority of the furniture there is from my friend and my cousin.
Oh, I see.
So, and like it's fine furniture, but I'm
Of
kind of like,
course.
oh, like this like wasn't really ever mine. Like
Yeah.
I just kind of
right.
took over it, which is fine, but it just like still sometimes feels like
For sure.
it's not totally like my space. even
I
though
feel
it is.
that. I
It
even
is.
feel like in the last couple of apartments that I lived in, like I was definitely furnishing it with like, Wayfair purchases.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I was kind of like, okay, these will last at best maybe a year, maybe 2, which did hold out to be
Right.
true.
Yeah. My current desk is from Wayfair,
Yeah,
and
so is.
that shit is wobbly.
Yeah.
That is not a
And
sturdy
it's like,
piece of furniture.
fake composite wood
Yep.
or like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. I should invest in a
I know.
in
And
a
it's
new desk.
hard because like that's like the affordable thing.
Right.
And also when you are moving so often, it's nice to have like touch and go
Yeah,
items.
exactly. Where I just like don't care what happens
Yeah.
to it.
But now, upon moving in here, I was like, this kind of feels like a real house, so maybe I'll try and furnish it with real things.
Yeah.
But then the version of that I have to do is like Facebook Marketplace
Right.
because I can't afford
to
buy real things.
No. Have to get it from other
So,
people. Yeah.
Yes.
I've never, and I don't know if it's mostly just because I don't have a car here, but
Oh, fair.
I've never been a huge Facebook
Marketplace.
marketplace, but I'd really like to step into that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Upon getting this apartment, I was so obsessed with apartment hunting. That was all I was doing when we were about to move here for literally 4 months, which is also funny because I didn't know that like you can't really find an
Can't do
apartment
that. Yeah.
4 months out. There's no
it goes
way.
so, yeah, it's so quick. Like,
And so a lot of wasted hours on that, but that's okay. Gave me something to do. But then I needed to like channel that obsession into something, so it became Facebook Marketplace.
I love that.
Which I tweeted at one point. I was like, gonna become obsessed with Facebook Marketplace. Watch this space, and that became very much true.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was written in the stars.
Yeah, you fulfilled that.
I actually love Facebook Marketplace. I do obviously have, well, I wouldn't say I drive it, but I have a partner with a car.
With a car.
Which is nice. If you ever want him to drive you
so
somewhere,
maybe
he literally will.
Be my chauffeur to my Facebook Marketplace
It's
findings.
nice.
Yeah, that's what I need.
Yeah.
So,
But it does take time. I feel like Facebook Marketplace is so, you really have to hunt.
yeah. Does it get competitive?
It does.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like people could be
Oh my
fighting
gosh.
on those groups.
When we were looking for patio furniture, we were looking at it like peak season, right? So like spring into summer when everyone fucking wants
everyone's
some.
like, I'd like to get in on that.
So they were going so fast. And we found this set and we ended up going to pick it up. And when we were literally in the car on the way over, the guy who offered to sell it to us was like, you know what? I've had a couple other offers since you said yes. Would you be down to pay $25 more?
What?
So it went from 175 to 200. And I was like, well, I'm in the car. So
yeah, like, I guess.
Yeah.
You've swindled
What
me.
happens if I say no?
Yeah, now what?
Yeah. It was crazy. And also we got there and I guess we had like some mutual Facebook friends or something, which I didn't even notice. But he like knew one of my friends from study abroad.
Oh.
So he's like chatting me up and I was like, so I don't know what to make of you, sir.
Yeah, I was like, well, then knock off that $25. That's
what I'm
A
saying.
family and friends discount.
Yeah.
Come on.
So it was crazy. And it also, at the end of the exchange, it kind of sounded like he wanted to hang. And I was like, honestly, sir, you've taken an extra 25 of my dollars.
I'm not giving you 25 more minutes of my time. Like, I'm leaving.
So interesting tactics, but yeah.
Yeah, no.
So when did you decide that you wanted to move to Chicago?
That was a great question. So when I came back from Spain in July of 2019,
okay,
I had literally no idea what I was doing with my life.
Totally.
I
think that's normal at that age.
Yeah, I don't think that wasn't a crazy.
I still don't.
Yeah, I still don't know what I'm doing. So I came back from Spain, and I was still dating my boyfriend at the time. We were in like a 7-year relationship by that point.
Totally.
So that's mostly why I came back from Spain, because I was like, I had a boy at home. Totally. Like, I gotta go.
My man's waiting for me.
I was like, I gotta get back there. And that was maybe a mistake, because then we did end up breaking up like
that will happen
2 months after I got home. Just things weren't working out.
I feel that.
And he was moving to Detroit, and I was like, I don't really want to move to Detroit anyway.
Totally.
I don't have anything against Detroit. It's not my vibe.
You gotta know your place. Yeah.
So then I was just at home at my parents', very sad, and I had no friends left in my hometown.
For sure.
And a couple of my best friends lived here, so I was like, well, I'll just
get on
move
down to the
here.
big
I was like,
city.
I'll just move here. And my parents were very nice and very supportive of me.
That's nice.
I did not have a job.
Totally.
But I was like, I have to get out of Michigan. I was like, I have got to get out of this place.
And there are so many jobs here.
So many jobs here.
Yeah.
So then I moved here. I found a sublet and moved here in November of 2019.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was fun. I did end up getting a job though in logistics, which was quite literally the worst time of my life.
I don't even really know what that means. To me, logistics is just a buzzword.
Well, yeah, so I think at least for me, for logistics is like trucking logistics.
Oh,
and I think that's generally what people associate it with, but also I'm not in the biz anymore, so totally. it could be something else entirely.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So I got a sales job at a logistics company, because quite literally anybody can get those jobs, and I
do actually feel like, now that you say that, I do know a couple of people who have been in the industry.
Yeah, it is crazy. So I was just cold calling trucking companies.
Oh my God, fun.
From 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I respectfully wanted to kill myself.
Of course.
I hated it. It was just like and I met some great people, honestly, like some of my best friends I did meet at that job. But
that's awesome. A lot of camaraderie to be built in a place like that.
So it was a very male dominated industry,
of course,
which was not fun.
Totally.
So like me and the one other girl on my team are still very close friends. Like we're just one of my best friends. And we truly did just bond because we were the only girls.
Minorities gotta stick together.
Yeah, we really do. It was just so awful. Like,
I mean, I can't really imagine, to be honest.
It was just like, and then COVID happened. So then I was cold calling trucking companies from my parents' house. That was even worse because I was like, Mom and Dad, do not listen to me. Like, do not listen to anything that's going on. Like, it was just...
I've definitely taken a couple of Zoom meetings from my parents' house, and I know how that goes.
I hate people hearing me do my job, and like my current job it's not embarrassing. Like I like my job, but like Kira, when she was working from home, also I was like, don't look at me.
Frankly,
don't listen to
we're
me.
different people at work. I put on a different voice. I'm doing my thing. I'm acting like I actually know a thing or two.
Yeah, and I don't.
Yeah. Same.
I was like, they know I'm lying. Like,
oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah. No, I feel that. I also feel like, so did you go home for most of the pandemic?
Yeah. So I was gone or like at my parents from probably like, March until July because I was still working for the trucks, and they made us go back to the office in July.
Oh shit! Of course they did.
I put up a fit.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, my boss did not like me. I was like, we should not be doing this. This is very this is a health hazard. Like,
totally.
And it kind of was because everybody was back in the office, people kept getting COVID. Yeah, obviously, because that's just what was happening.
Of course.
And so we had to pack our stuff up like every 3 days.
Oh, that's so annoying.
To go back home and then quarantine and then go back. And it was so
at that point, yeah. Is it really worth it?
That's what I kept saying. I was like, I don't know why we're here.
Also,
like,
you can just call trucks from home.
I was like, totally we've been doing it. We've been doing it for the last 5 months. Like, we do not need to be there.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if majority of the people that kind of like work in and potentially have higher up positions in that industry maybe are like Trump supporters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was like also like during, I guess, the end of the first of Trump's presidency, and that was a tough work environment.
No, for sure.
We did so when I got hired, and then like 4 days later I had to go to this massive training in Atlanta.
Oh,
with like 500 retired frat boys.
Absolutely.
Just terrible energy.
Oh my God,
it was
that's
the worst.
Crazy.
And I also was like already just like so depressed and not having a good time with my life in general. And then stepping into that, I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing here?
I have to be honest, it is hard to picture you in that setting.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't have been there. I don't know why they hired me. I was like, I don't know what like made you look at me and be like, she'll be all right here.
Yeah,
like
she's the one.
She'll certainly succeed
here. Claire.
No, I was so bad at my job. And it was horrid, like
totally
bad vibes, like just so many khaki shorts and Sperry's. And I was like, I wasn't sure. I didn't know people still were up to wearing that. Like
one of the rocks.
Yeah, and their little polos. It was tough. And then they had Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. They had him do a motivational speech at this sales training, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Damn, that's actually kind of crazy.
I was like, this man is a criminal.
For sure.
Like,
he should be arrested.
I was like, I think he was arrested.
Like, is someone going to perform a citizen's arrest right now?
I was like looking around because all these boys are just like losing their minds.
Drooling, yeah.
And I was just like, oh, I can't believe like this is happening.
Wow, that's amazing.
I
think that's something that's
dream.
So funny about like, specifically like criminal acts like in the business world.
Yeah,
somehow
like a white
you
collar.
can just skate right by.
Yeah. And I was like, we paid, or not we, but like the company certainly paid
for sure. Probably a pretty penny.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, why? I was like, you couldn't think of anybody else.
This is who we're looking up to.
I was like, ooh.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
And then like we all like, got like back and like separated into like our individual offices because they have like offices across the country. And I'm like looking around and I was like, did anyone else think that was like a little crazy? Like my team lead was like, what? And I was like, I'm not like so sure this is like appropriate. And he was like, it's fine, it was cool. And I was like,
okay.
Okay.
We have different views on what cool is.
I don't think we're
No, I feel that. I worked for a Trump supporter during the pandemic as well. And I think those two things kind of compiled on each other were also just like horrendous. Like, I feel like it was such a, I mean, just such a polarizing time that I was like, I thought I could maybe work for someone who I had, you know, differing views with. But I was like, you know, maybe I shouldn't do that anymore.
No. I think I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, I like don't need to be friends with.
No.
Like I get when you're younger and like in college and stuff. I'm like, it didn't.
And you're allowed to be wrong.
Yeah. Not anymore. No. Not at this big age. Like
straight up.
So
when did you come back?
To
June.
Chicago.
Yeah.
In July of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's kind of gone like this.
Yes.
I mean, there are COVID cases happening right now.
Right now. Yes.
Boring.
Yeah. Kira, not to air Kira out, but she did get COVID this past spring.
That sucks.
And I was like, that's crazy. I was like, that's embarrassing for you guys. Like she and one of our other friends got it.
Totally.
And I was like sitting there. I was like, am I gonna get it now?
And
I didn't. So shout out to my booster shot.
For sure.
But yeah, it is crazy that's like still.
I know. I feel like I've put it so behind me that I'm like, that can't possibly happen again.
Yeah, that's like not real. We went to Lollapalooza.
Oh,
and
fun.
I was certain we were going to.
For sure.
We were going to get something.
Yeah.
But we made it out.
We did Pitchfork. Which was probably a little more low-key, but
yeah,
I think Lala sounds so fun. I've actually never been.
I had a great time,
but the fact that it's 4 days is kind of absurd to me.
Okay, so we did do the full 4 days.
Good
and
for
I
you.
don't
you're strong.
I did cry on Sunday because I was so exhausted. I was like, I can't do it.
I feel that. Oh my god, hilarious. A festival cry is actually so well deserved.
I was also like alone because I was seeing a band that like, I don't know honestly how I ended up alone, but I was alone. Totally. And then I just like started just bawling and I was like, oh my god. I was like, I probably look insane to people that are
so funny
walking past, but I don't feel I need to go 4 days again. I think I'm past that. The last time I went, I was 18. I went the summer going into my freshman year, and it was only 3 days back then. Yeah. 3 days seems much more manageable.
Pitchfork was 3, and even that for me, I was like, okay, the second day or the last day, I'm tired for sure. Yeah. Like, I'm probably going to go into the grounds late.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was also so rainy for Lala on Saturday and Sunday. So, like, you couldn't sit down anywhere.
Yeah,
because
that's
everything
hard.
was just mud.
Totally.
So I think that also led to my tears because I was like, I just want to sit down. Yeah. I just want to sit on the ground and I can't.
I will say, standing as much as I did at Pitchfork, and I mean, there was one day where it rained for us too, but I was like, man, I guess I got to practice this more. I'm like not ever on my feet.
No.
Which is so sad.
No. One of my friends was talking about, I think the amount of steps they take. I don't know.
Yes.
And he like said something and I was like, I'm not even gonna tell you how many.
I wear this and all it does is scold me.
Yeah,
I'm like, I might take you off.
Yeah, like don't do that to me.
No, and the amount of steps I actually get in a normal day is very embarrassing. No, like I'm not proud.
No, I'm not either.
I need to go outside and touch grass.
I just because I work from home and I know you do too. Like I'm not going anywhere.
Literally.
I used to be very good about taking like a lunchtime walk.
Good for you.
And now I would say within the last month or so. Which
I will say also in the heat, like, do I really want to go outside?
Then I'm going to be tired.
Yeah.
I already get tired in the afternoon. I get tired from my sitting. I'm not going to add to that.
No, but it is actually bad. There are days where I'm like, okay, all of a sudden I haven't been outside in 3 days. Yeah. And I'm like, that is a problem.
Yeah, like I'm becoming a hermit.
Yeah.
Like it's tragic.
Which I honestly, I guess I don't do that as much in the summer, but like come winter,
I'm hunkered down.
It gets
like
a little
I
scary.
am. Yeah. But also it doesn't, which is it's definitely a problem. It doesn't bother me that
Me neither. I know.
I love to just sit at home.
Same. It's nice. I know what's going on there. Yep. I have access to my fridge at all times.
Yep. Snacks. Like I don't need to go outside, which is why I also feel like I maybe can't live alone because
Fair.
I will just stay inside, like,
I know.
and not talk to.
I think that's why I'm glad I have another person also living in my home.
Yeah, because I just simply wouldn't. Like, I am so.
I think you have to be really intentional about it when you live by yourself.
Yeah, which I would have to work at that. That
Totally.
would definitely be
It's an
something.
adjustment.
Yes.
Because otherwise it's like so easy at the end of the day to just be like, okay, and there's a person.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's
can turn
talk
and
to
talk.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. I like working remote. I think it's nice. When I first moved here, we actually had like a WeWork.
Oh,
So I was going like downtown. I was a little commuter.
cute.
I was doing like the whole thing. It was in River North.
Was
honestly,
it a shared WeWork or like?
yeah.
I actually don't know how
so
WeWork.
I didn't
functions,
either
honestly.
until moving here. It was like my first WeWork experience, and I knew that we had one because a couple other people from my company had like moved down first. And I want to say there are probably like around 12 of us now who live in the Chicago area, and we were supposed to come in 2 days a week, which was like fine. We had an office for 6, so we had to like rotate days.
Interesting. Okay.
But there are like your company can buy an office,
Okay.
and then you can also go sit out in the main room where everyone just
in,
is
like, an open space sort of. Interesting.
And like there's like the free kombucha and coffee and whatever, you know, the perks.
Right.
And it was like a pretty view and everything. I actually it was like kind of fun commuting for like the first little bit because I was like,
fun to feel like a
such
city girl.
Yeah,
it's so much fun, and then you kind of lose the.
I was like, okay, the charm has worn off.
Yeah.
And
Especially
like
when
I'm
it's so
tired
hot.
of wearing this fucking backpack, and I have blisters, and
I have to actually
the
get
CTA
dressed.
stinks.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to go on the L.
No. Is there even an L close to you guys? It's far.
No, it's
far
far
away, right? Yeah. So that's.
So I had to walk
fun.
like a mile just to get to the train.
Yeah. No.
And then you
No,
get on the
thank you.
train. Like I think my commute in total was like almost an hour-ish.
Oh my god.
The train ride itself was probably only like 20 minutes.
Yeah, but it's just getting to the train and
Yeah.
then getting back.
And then like I would get off in the loop and walk to River North, which again, not that far,
No,
but maybe like a
but-
15-minute
Yeah,
walk.
I mean enough.
So that back then I was getting my steps in.
Yeah, you really were.
But now I'm kind of like, they decide to get rid of the WeWork. They bring us to Madison on a more frequent basis because that's where our headquarters are. And I'm like, I think that's cool with me. I don't
Yeah.
mind.
I don't
kind
mind
of
that.
chilling.
Yeah. My office, we have an office, but nobody is making
really?
anybody go in,
Wait,
which
that's
is
nice.
really nice. So I go in when we have events,
Totally.
happy hours.
Yes.
If my boss makes it a point to be like, I'm going into the office tomorrow, like would love to see you guys. I'm always like, yeah, I'll go. I was like, for sure. So I go I'm trying to go, I would love to go once a week, which I know is not,
Sure.
that's not a crazy achievement to have.
Hey,
but-
honestly, when you spend all your time at home, it kind of
yeah.
is.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I go maybe once a month.
That's how often I'm supposed to go to Madison.
Yeah. Yeah. And but every time I go, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is kind of nice. Like, this is nice, you guys.
It's
Like,
exactly that. It's, oh.
yeah. I'm always like, why don't we do this more often? Like, everyone's
my
like,
God,
we
that's
are
hilarious.
here, Claire. Like, you're just not here.
Totally.
So,
Do you like the people you work with?
yeah, I do. I'm not like, it's so weird going from like the logistics company because I feel like that was like, you just like kind of had to trauma bond with everybody
Of
around you because
course.
everybody or mostly everyone hated their job.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like you just kind of bonded with people. And this job, I think mostly because it is pretty much fully remote. Like I just like don't know my coworkers
Yeah.
very well.
I feel that.
But I like them. They're all nice.
Yeah.
I like my boss a lot. He's really cool. He's from Madison.
Oh,
no, he's not
nice.
from Madison. He went to Wisconsin
school, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't they all?
Yeah, they were. Our CEO and CFO also went there. So
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
yeah,
It's actually
big Wisconsin
crazy.
family.
Upon moving here,
How many?
how many people I've met that also went to UW. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is
It's
kind
big
of nuts.
Big Ten Central here. Yeah, you guys are
the
everywhere.
pipeline is strong.
It really is. Big Ten to
Yeah.
Chicago is not messing
Crazy.
around.
Well, and I feel like if I think about it, like it's obviously the biggest city,
Yeah, most
kind of like in the
accessible.
Midwest.
Yeah.
So I actually fucking love it though. I'm so glad we landed here. We actually almost moved here like pre-pandemic.
Oh, really?
And then we kind of were like, you know what, we'll wait it out.
Yeah.
Because how do you make friends?
How do you?
Making friends as an adult is hard enough as it is.
Tough.
That like, yeah, if I'm not allowed to leave my house.
Yeah, I truly don't, and I like applaud people that move to cities where they literally don't know
anybody.
because
Same.
like
Cough, cough,
moving,
Sophia.
yeah, I don't know how.
Yeah.
it's very impressive to me. Like it like
Same.
is mind blowing because I like moved here and had like my friends from high school here
Totally.
and like friends from college here already. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'll get to know your friends,
Right.
and that's how I make my friends.
Yeah. No, I did the same thing. When we moved here, I had a friend from college who like, she was already super established here. She had been here probably since we graduated. And like, you met Grace.
Oh yeah.
And she just like enveloped us right in, and which is so nice. Like, that's awesome.
That's so lovely when people do that. Like my friend Neil, who I lived with in Spain.
I think I met him.
Yes. Yeah. So I met him in Spain, like, and we just happened to be roommates. And then when I moved here after we got back, he didn't move here for like 6 months after that, maybe. I don't actually remember when he moved here. It might have been a full year later.
Because you guys came home from Spain same time.
Yes. Yeah. But he texted me, like, I hung out with him a couple times, and then he texted me and was like, oh, do you want to play on our volleyball team? And I was like, he's like, it's like a bunch of like, he's like, it's my family friends, like all of his friends. And I was like, sure. And I was like, can Kira play too? Like, she just moved here. He was like, yeah, like we need some girls. Sure.
Nice.
And now like that is my friend group. And I was like,
awesome.
I was like, that's so sweet.
And it's so wholesome.
So nice. Like,
yeah.
Just an easy.
I will say it's hilarious that you made your friends through intramural sports, because I feel like that is kind of the way to do it now. But that's also like my worst fear.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a nightmare, but they're all very nice boys, good guys. Like,
that's
but
good.
It was because I didn't know them yet, so our first year playing was a little traumatic.
Because it also takes like communication and just
it does,
especially fucking volleyball.
Volleyball, yeah, it's all communication.
Yeah.
And I'm not good, so I was not helpful with the communication.
Totally.
So yeah, it's kind of nice that it all worked out in that way.
No, that is.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know, and I feel like I will say that's the one thing I love about Chicago is like so many people that are our age who are down to hang. Like people want to make friends.
Yes,
which is nice.
It's so nice. Yeah.
It's been really fun. I feel like it's so funny too. Like I'm still kind of exploring all the neighborhoods because obviously living in Madison, I visited Chicago all the time, but I just went downtown.
Right. Yeah. I didn't know anything about.
I would stay in the Loop or River North. I'd go to the expensive restaurants and like, it's so much fun kind of like seeing all the little pockets. There are so many. I mean, the city is massive.
I know. I like feel like I haven't even like
scratch the surface.
No. And I've lived here for 4 years. Like I don't even know what's going on in this city half the time. Like it is crazy.
Yeah. Because have you been in Lakeview the whole time then?
Yeah.
Essentially?
Yeah, I did when I first moved here when I was subletting. I was in Wrigleyville, which I was like sick. It's really cool for me as a 23-year-old.
I will say I feel like there are lots of 23-year-olds.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't like a weird thing for me to be doing.
Totally.
But I really was only there for like, oh god, like 2-3 months. Because,
that's short. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I kind of got kicked out of my sublease.
Oh, totally.
The girl that I was subleasing from, she moved to San Francisco. Like her job moved her to San Francisco. And it's my own fault. I didn't like sign like an official thing because she was like, I'm not
sure.
She's like, I'm not coming back. Like,
and then she's like, I changed my mind.
And then she emailed me in like December, like right when I was going home for Christmas. I was on the train home to Michigan.
Oh no.
And I don't know why I wasn't checking my email often, but I don't know, I wasn't expecting that. And I got an email from her and she was like, hi, I'm actually like coming home.
Okay.
So you need to be out of the apartment like by like February 1st. And I was like, oh.
Thanks for the heads up.
I was like, okay.
Happy holidays to you too.
I was like, oh my god, so I'm like crying on this train. And I was like,
no.
It's like, this is crazy. And like, I mean, a month is enough time to find a place, but I was planning on moving in with my cousin in April.
Oh.
So I was like, I
don't want to find a place for 3 months
for 3 months. So then I was in an Airbnb, like, but I couldn't afford to be in like an individual Airbnb. So it was like a shared Airbnb space.
I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah, so you could just like rent rooms,
like a long stay type of thing.
Yeah, so like most people that were there were like med students doing rotations.
I guess that makes sense.
Which was nice. They weren't really ever there, and I wasn't really there that much either. But
they're busy. They're a busy crowd.
Yeah, they really are. They're doing things. They're being doctors, and I was working with trucks, so we were kind of the same.
Totally, lots of similarities.
Yeah, so that was a very hectic time in my life.
For
like
sure.
I just was like, what? Once again, what am I doing? What am I doing here?
Yeah. I think that's normal at 23.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't feel like I'm that much older.
Me neither.
I mean, it was like 4 years ago, so I
know.
am, but the amount like that I feel like I've grown since then is like kind of crazy.
I was just saying that to somebody the other day, like, because I recently turned 27. My birthday was in like, July, so I'm fresh.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the club.
Thank you. And 27 just sounds so old.
It does.
But like, I don't really feel that old.
I don't feel old.
And we actually just got a message for like I got like a Facebook message from our class president at high school, Monica Ford, shout out.
Okay. Hey, Monica.
About our like
your 10-year reunion.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I think I'm supposed to be involved in our 10-year reunion.
Are you?
I was on the
you were student body.
What was I? I think I was a treasurer.
Okay.
So I really actually should be involved. I didn't have a lot of responsibilities
For
to be
sure.
honest.
I actually don't even know what that position does. You just like manage the money?
But I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
I just sat up there and got to know things slightly before the rest of the group. Like,
which is nice.
Which was nice. I love to be in the know.
Huge perk.
Yeah, so that's coming up. That's next.
No, it kind of like made me sick when I got the notification. I was like, 10 years? That doesn't feel
that couldn't
legal.
Be me. Yeah, it couldn't be me.
Yeah. And I was saying too, like, I feel like I'm like equally 10 or 5 years from high school, like, and college somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
Which is like a complete mindfuck, obviously, but.
Yeah, because like I guess for our 10-year anniversary
I know.
reunion, I was gonna say we're like 10 years from going to college, from when we went to college, which I know that's how that math works, but
it's crazy.
That's crazy.
I know. It doesn't really feel like correct, but
no.
I also feel like some of that is actually the pandemic because like
we lost 3 years. I'm really like 20, 25.
Exactly.
24, 25.
Cool 25.
Yeah. Young. Sprightly.
We're actually in our mid-20s.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not in my late 20s at all. You're wrong.
Could never be me. But yeah, I agree with you in the sense of like I have grown up a lot, which is good, I think.
I think it's very it is a good thing. Yeah, it is kind of crazy. Like,
I know. Well, and even just like I think back on all the stupid shit I was doing, and it's not to say that I'm not making mistakes now, but I'm like
but I was up to some dumb things
for sure.
I was up to some.
I was an idiot.
Yeah, it's up to
safe to say
some stupid shit. Yeah,
and like even just the level of confidence I have at this age, or at least maybe confidence is the wrong word, but like I care so much less about what other people think.
or a lot less,
which is great.
But I still care. Honestly, I still care.
I care.
I'm still worrying about
Same.
what people are thinking of
I
me.
have a level
but like,
of awareness.
Yeah, but definitely a lot less than that I was.
Me too.
My therapist though always, because I'll like be like, I'm like, I feel like people are like talking about me, or like I get anxious like going into like a room of like, like a crowded room and stuff like that.
Sure.
And she was like, yeah, but like how often like do you think about like the other people that are entering a room?
Walking
and I was like, sometimes I do. Like sometimes I am noticing other people.
For sure.
And I was like, so what if they're
noticing
me? And she's like, that you need to she's like, you need to calm down a little bit.
No, I get that. It was actually really funny. I had Sarah on the podcast recently, and like I don't have any close friends who are kind of like in the therapy world. So chatting with her is very fascinating because, and obviously she's like working on the grief therapy thing. Right. So it's a little bit different. But just even kind of like tapping into the human mind, I'm like, I actually don't know if I could do that for a living.
Oh, I certainly could not.
It'd be crazy.
No, I like feel like I've been in therapy for I did therapy like when I was younger, but I've been in like with my current therapist for about a year, and we're kind of at like the fun part of therapy now. Like,
and it takes that long.
Yeah. And like, so now it's more just like a check-in, and I get to like chat with somebody who's like not super involved in my life, which is nice, but like,
which is literally the whole point.
It's so lovely. Like, and she's like, I don't actually know how old she is, but I think she's like 33 or something.
See,
so like she's
perfect.
I was like, she's just enough older where I feel like she like has a little bit more life experience than me, and like I accept her advice that she's giving me,
and she's not out of touch. Like, she's been through this.
Yeah.
But
so that's been nice. But I do agree. Like it is, I could never like listen to.
I know
that sounds bad, but like,
well, even just when I think of the own shit that's going on in my brain, I'm like, how do people listen to that and still sympathize with me? I have no idea.
Yeah, no, that's why I was like, I don't know how she likes me. Maybe she doesn't, but
I know. I actually haven't gotten a therapist since moving here. And I'm like nervous to hunt for one because
yeah.
it's so much work.
It's a lot. I just kind of stuck with the first one that I chose. And I don't know if that's exactly how you're supposed to do it.
Hey, if it's working.
I mean, I like her.
Yeah.
Shout out Victoria.
That's all you can ask
she's cool.
for.
But I do feel like you're kind of like, I think that's the thing where you're supposed to like, but I'm like doing an initial intake meeting is like so mentally exhausting.
Oh my God, it's hell
I was
on
like,
earth.
I don't want to tell you
I have to trauma dump on you.
Yeah, for a whole hour.
Yeah.
And then say, never mind, you're not the one for me. And I have to do that again.
Yeah.
No, not for me. It's so exhausting.
Yeah. I know. It's actually been really interesting since moving here, even just trying to find medical professionals. This is just like the first time in my life where like I've been responsible for that.
I will tell you, I still don't have.
Totally.
I went to the gynecologist for the first time.
For sure.
I couldn't tell you the last time. I literally
Which is
could
okay
not.
because it's kind of the worst appointment that you go to.
Yeah. And like she was chill. So like I was like, I don't know why I waited.
Hey, where did you go?
I can give you
I would love that.
Yeah, she's great. She's Turkish. She's very cool.
Yeah.
And it was like very quick. Like
That's always nice.
quick and easy, like wasn't.
Because I made an appointment. I like was trying to set myself up. I was like, okay, I need a primary care doctor. I need to find a dentist, all these things. And I have to get my IUD out pretty soon. So I was like, we have to find a gyno.
To find one, yeah.
And I made an appointment at this place called Innovative Primary Care, no offense. And I literally got there and it was a bizarre place. It was like in some like weird strip mall, which isn't the end of the world, but I was like, the vibes are strange.
Yeah.
And I got in there and they were like playing Miley Cyrus music and everyone was just being really sort of like lax,
like a little unprofessional.
It wasn't super like high end.
Which is not really what you want in your gynecologist specifically. Like
I was like, I'm supposed to take my pants off here.
Yeah, like no thanks.
Yeah. And then they were also like, it was like half med spa, which I was like, okay, that's interesting. So like people are in the other room getting Botox or whatever.
Interesting.
And then they also did a lot of like drug therapy. So
like the ketamine therapy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is really, I love how sort of like, full circle wellness that this is.
Yeah,
however, I don't know if this is where I want to be inspected.
Yeah, no, I went to, it's just like an advocate healthcare, so like that's like I think like
that's like a buzzword.
the main I think system here. I actually don't know.
Want something that's like attached to a hospital.
Yep, this one is. Yeah, so I'll give you her information. Okay, she's very, very lovely. I do need to get a dentist, so if you find one of those,
the dentist I went to was actually in the exact same strip mall, which I did not know upon
You're
going.
Like, not this place again.
And I literally got off the bus and I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. So yeah, I think we're gonna go somewhere else for the dentist as well.
Yeah, I have such dentist anxiety.
Me too. I hate going to the dentist.
I'm like, because I also fully know I have cavities. Like,
I just had my first ones.
I don't think I've ever had them in my adult teeth, but I used to get them.
I've never had one
baby
before.
Teeth. Yeah, not great.
Scary.
It's not. It's also just like so embarrassing.
Oh my God, the way that I feel shame.
Yeah. I just hate it. Like, ugh. And I have to go because like that's so mean to my parents. They spent so much money on braces. Like,
I feel that.
It's really mean to them.
Well, the reason that I keep going is because I actually have a ton of fake teeth. I have
really?
4. I had so many dental issues growing up that like I had a prosthodontist. I had obviously an orthodontist. I got like all the 9 yards and so much work being done on me constantly, like an oral surgeon, all these things. And so I moved here. I actually had one of my fake teeth fell out and it was during the pandemic.
You could have gotten a silver tooth.
Literally. Literally. Maybe I should have asked.
You should have got one.
That could have been like style points.
Yeah.
It like fell out. I was actually biting into my absolute favorite sandwich, which is the Gotham Bagels breakfast sandwich.
Yum.
Heaven on earth.
I love Gotham Bagels.
Same. They have one in Madison. They actually started there.
Really?
Yeah.
I just assumed they started in New York.
I know. Well, and he is very New York.
Yeah.
So the owner is he's actually super fucking mean to men and he hates James. Like him and James have beef. It's so fucking funny.
Wait, I don't love that he hates James, but it is a little funny that
it's hilarious.
He hates men because
he's like so mean to them, but he's really nice to all the women that come to the store. It's like it's so funny. And I'm like, okay, finally a place where I'm valued.
Yeah, finally. I've been waiting for a bagel place that will show me respect.
Straight up. And they make a mean fucking sandwich.
They really do.
So it's the pastrami egg and cheese is my
Yum.
fave. And I was biting into that sandwich and my fake tooth fell right on out. And it was like the
Is it
pandemic.
painful? Like, does that?
So no, it's like a bridge though.
Okay.
So it's like a capped tooth next to an actual place where I just don't have one.
Okay.
And so like the capped tooth was a healthy tooth that they had to shave down essentially to give it grip.
Oh my God.
And so that one has a lot of nerve endings. So like even just like
painful.
breathing in
Just
the
like
air
oh my God. Ugh.
is like horrible.
Oh my gosh.
So my tooth fell out and I was like, oh no, this is not going to be good. And then of course it's a pandemic, so we can't get in right away. And it was the first appointment. And mind you, I was like 23 at the time. So I shouldn't need my mom to come with me to these appointments.
But I don't blame you.
She had been like my whole life.
Yeah. You're like, we got to run this back.
Literally.
Yeah.
And I called them and they were like, yeah, we can get you in like 3 days or something. And you have to come to your appointment alone. Because it was like,
because it was a pandemic, so you couldn't have extra people.
And I was like,
and you're like, no,
I'm
can
sorry,
do.
I can't bring my
mother.
So I'm like crying on the phone. I don't have a tooth. This is crazy.
I don't have a tooth.
It was just nuts. And so yeah, ever since then I'm like, I need to take really good care of these things. But so then I found a dentist here.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, my first time kind of doing the whole thing where like I'm looking with my insurance and doing ZocDoc and all that. And yeah, weird strip mall place. It was beneath I actually don't remember what my dentist is called, but it was beneath this like cosmetic thing, like cosmetic dentistry called like Lux Smiles.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, this is
I'm not sure if that's like the branding I'm looking for my
in
dentistry.
like these like squiggly, I was like, okay,
interesting.
I know what kind of the place this is now.
Yeah, and it's
I
not.
think I'm not gonna
me.
stay. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard. Like those are things that have always just like been thrust upon me. I always had a dentist. I always had a doctor. I didn't have to really think too hard.
Yeah, even like a hairstylist.
Oh, totally.
That I still don't have here. I go to the Ulta
literally same.
across
I cut
the
my own
street.
hair.
Yeah, like I literally go to the Ulta across the street and like
wait, they cut hair?
They do. They have a salon and they do, I would say, a decent job.
I
like
think your hair looks good.
Thanks. I definitely should get like go to maybe a normal salon. But also it's cheap, so I'm like, I don't know.
I had one hairstylist literally since I was in 7th grade. Sophia actually used to get her hair cut by her too.
Ooh,
and
shout
both
out.
of our moms. Her name's Megan.
Megan.
She's amazing. And like she should have been charging way more. So I always tipped her really hefty because she just like, she kept the price low.
Yep.
And I moved here, and when I started looking for one, I was like, okay, so it's going to be like $300, $400.
Right, yeah, like I'm not...
No.
I can't be up to that. Like
she would give me a haircut, color, eyebrows, everything for like $80.
Yeah, that's how like my hairstylist was like my hairstylist my entire life.
Totally.
She's one of she went to high school with my aunt. Like,
oh my God, that's awesome.
So like,
that's
and like kind of friends with my mom too. So like just always.
Yeah.
And she would only charge like $30. Like, and I was like, I didn't realize how cheap this was.
I know.
Like until I had to pay for it myself.
Same. No, and that's like one of those things too where like you also, it's kind of like finding a therapist. You have to like find the right person who fits your vibe and won't fuck your hair clean up.
Yeah, exactly. And I like feel like a lot of if you're like looking on Instagram at hair salons, it's always, and this is not derogatory to the blondes, but it is always blondes on their Instagram. And so I'm like, do you only
are
you only cutting blondes hair? Like, will I be welcomed in this establishment?
That makes sense.
But
you just might not make the Instagram.
No, they definitely she will not be posting my hair on Instagram. She's like, not your dull brown hair.
That's actually so true. I don't know why that is.
I guess it just like honestly does look.
Well, and I know that blondes, I like work sort of in the industry, in the marketing realm. Obviously, I'm not doing hair, but don't know a thing about it. But I know they're hard to do. So
yeah.
oh no.
So if you're good at it, then like it's very impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've never dyed my hair.
Have you never?
Never.
Oh my gosh. And then you'd be a hairstylist dream.
Yes, but I don't. I just like get so nervous. I honestly. No, there's not a lot going on here, but I do like my hair color.
No,
like,
I think it's gorgeous.
I like having dark hair, so I'm just like.
I think it looks really good on you.
Thank you. So I am just so nervous to like change anything because I'm like, I know I like how it looks now, so I'm very afraid of.
I feel that.
I'm very afraid of change.
I used to dye my hair all the time. I started when I was really young, and so I feel like for me, this is actually the first time in probably like, I don't even know, maybe like 15 years that I haven't had my hair colored. And I'm kind of enjoying it. It's way less maintenance.
Right. Yeah.
Certainly it's easier on my pocketbook. Yes. And like, yeah, I used to like experimenting like that, but there is just like so much that has to go into it. And then like the second it grows out, you're like, okay, well, I have to go back.
Now I have to go back. Now I have to spend more money.
Yeah.
Again.
So I am kind of enjoying that part, but I was born like super duper blonde. So this is like the darkest. I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess I'm brown.
This is how I am now, I guess.
Yeah.
This is me.
But I feel like you and I are both relatively pale girls.
Yeah,
like
so pale. Yeah.
Dark hair looks better on us.
Yeah. Well, one of my cousins was saying, because I think we were talking about dyeing hair, and she was like, no offense, Claire, you'd look like a freak if you had blonde hair. And I was like, that is kind of true. I think
can't really picture it on you.
I can't either. Like, I've never been like, wow, I'd like to try it. Like, I really do think it'd be unsettling on the eyes for others.
And sometimes you have to just know that about yourself.
And, and that's okay.
And keep the people safe.
Yeah, I'm keeping everyone else. So you're welcome, world.
I like it. Yeah. I used to do hair was one of the things that I felt like I could just fuck with because it grew back.
Yeah.
But I also know a lot of people who feel the opposite of like, they'll get a haircut, they come home, they cry every time.
Oh, I got so much trauma when I came back from Spain. So came back from Spain, was already sad. Then my boyfriend and I broke up, sad again. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Chop my hair.
Oh my God, naturally.
And I got kind of a fuck ass bob. Like it really was like, it was Lord Farquaad. Like it was. And she gave me, my lovely hairstylist, Jill, gave me exactly what I asked for.
Right.
Like
she didn't. Like, you shouldn't want this, but apparently you do.
I was like, yes, like this is it. And it was truly like up to here. And like, you can probably tell now since it's so hot, like my hair does get a little poofy, and it was just, it was a little lad. Like it was.
I actually have had a similar haircut,
and I did cry a lot.
Yeah. No, I will say, as much as like I like to say that I've always been happy with my hair, when I first cut my hair this short, I was like, what have I done?
Like, pull it off. It looks so beautiful. Like,
thank you. It took a lot of getting used to.
Right.
And when I first got it too, it was definitely a slightly different haircut. These were much shorter, and I feel like these kind of bring back like the feminine side of it. Where at first I cut it off and I was like, oh my God, I literally look like a boy. Like, what have I done? I made the biggest mistake of my life.
What have I done here?
So, and the time that I still don't like it, even with this haircut, is in the winter when I have to wear a hat.
When you have to wear a hat, and you're like,
I'm kind of like, oh, this is actually repulsive. I look really scary. So it's tough. You can't win them all.
You really can't. Yeah, it is.
But I know I have shopped around a little bit for a hairstylist here. I haven't pulled the trigger. I've just been doing the Instagram thing. Yep. And I see people that I like their work. They're doing some cool stuff, but I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta save up.
Yeah, I have to put away $300 for, and I
will say, having short hair too, like I have to get it cut probably like every month.
Way more often. So
that's not realistic.
No, that's
so I just make James do it.
Yeah. Is he good at it?
Well, there is one time where he was giving me a haircut, and we were like, so I kind of do like the front, like this half of my head.
And he does the back.
And he does the back. He's gotten his rhythm down, and I like show him all these videos of like Instagram people doing it. I'm like, this is what you need to do. And he's definitely a YouTube learner. Like I would say that's how he learns how to make video games and play music and do all these things. So it's like, now you get to learn how to be a hairstylist.
One more activity for you.
Literally. And so he like was cutting my hair, but he had, because I do it all with like it's like a kind of like feathered razor blade.
Okay.
So no scissors or touching this head. And he had the blade in one hand and the comb in the other. Oh, no. And he thought he was going and combing my hair.
Oh no.
And so he was very close to the scalp, and he just went zzz.
Oh,
and I just hear him go, and I immediately started crying.
God.
I immediately started crying. I was like, what did you do? And then I put my little hand back there, and I literally had like a tuft of hair. And he was like, I'm so sorry. And then of course he turns into like, I never wanted to do this. Like, you made me do this. Yeah.
Not my fault.
So
I never asked to be the hairstylist.
Literally, which is true.
Yeah.
In his defense.
Yeah.
And we managed to kind of like make it not so obvious. And I think it's grown out now. But after that, he was like, I never want to do this again. And I was like, well, frankly, you have no choice.
Yeah, like you will continue until I get my $300.
You just have to be smarter. But it's funny. But then I actually went to one of my work events recently that I went to a couple months back. there's like this semi-famous hairstylist there. He's pretty famous in the hairstyling world, but like a lay person probably wouldn't know him. But his name is Ken Paves. He's like the hairstylist for Victoria Beckham.
Oh,
very consistently.
Okay.
He's like at all of her family functions and stuff. But he's also like touched the heads of like Eva Longoria, Lady Gaga, like all these people.
Oh my God.
And he came up to me and he was like, "Oh my God, I love your hair." And I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." And like the owner of my company was like chatting with him too and stuff. So we were just like all kind of standing around. He was like, "I used to have my hair like yours, blah, blah. I just haven't seen a haircut like this in forever. Like, you know, it's a little bit retro. It's so cute." Gosh. All these things. And he wouldn't stop. And
he would not
he was
stop
like
complimenting
literally
me.
gushing over it. And I was like, this
loved
is
me.
okay, I'm eating it up. And then he like kind of like left the area that we were standing in, and I like said to my manager, I was like, "Well, that's so funny because James cuts my hair." And she literally looks at me and she goes, "That doesn't leave this room.
Do not
like,
tell anyone that. You do not repeat that between you and God."
Okay, lips are sealed.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. But I did text James and it went straight to his head. And he was like, "I knew I was good at this."
He's like, "I'm actually a genius."
Yeah, hilarious.
Wow.
So he went from like literally never wanting to.
He's like, "I will never touch your hair."
Being like, I've gifted you with something.
This is something special.
Yes.
Wow.
Hilarious. But I just want to say it's been so fun having you on this podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
I was like, I need to have the girls on because you guys are so fucking funny.
Thank you.
And I'm very glad that I met you.
I'm so happy we met.
It's also so funny because like, I mean, one, I think it's a given that all of Sophia's friends are funny. I think that goes without saying. That sort of, you attract what you give.
Yes, exactly. I mean, Sophia's maybe the funniest person that I know.
So fucking funny. She's hilarious. And like, it's just been so fun. Like all of her college friends are here and stuff. So being able to like meet everybody.
Intermingle.
Yeah. Has been really special. So but that's also part of like why I love this podcast. Cause I feel like it's like, it wouldn't be weird if I just invited you over for dinner, but then there's like this little extra thing that we can
activity.
do. Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah.
And most people haven't been on a pod before.
No, it's my first time.
Love that I could break that for you.
Yeah, it's been very exciting.
But one thing that I want to do before we wrap up, have you ever done like the rose and a thorn exercise?
Oh yes, I was a camp counselor.
Oh my God, of course.
Certainly I've done this.
Okay, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
You do kind of have a camp counselor vibes. I have a couple of really good friends who are camp counselors.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. Yeah, I only did it I went to camp and then I only was a counselor for one summer.
Totally.
Because you don't make a lot of money, and
you really don't.
I gotta save up a bit. But yeah, I loved it. It was so fun.
Camp counseling is so funny. I went to camp a couple times. I was not a huge camp girl. Sophie and I actually went once, and
Camp Shalom?
So she did Camp Shalom. I actually wasn't on that one.
Okay.
As I'm not Jewish.
No.
Yeah, and neither is she. But
she.
I really don't know how she wound up there, to be honest.
Who knows?
No, her and I went to this camp called Camp Anakiji. It's like up north Wisconsin.
Okay.
And it was hilarious. It was really fun, but very outdoorsy, which I would say neither of us gravitate towards those things. And I just remember like we were trying to like do the swim test, and it was like, you know, to see if you could actually go in the deep end or whatever. And like Sophia didn't pass, and I was like, okay, then I'm gonna fail. So we can stay together.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna go without.
Why would I go in the deep end by myself?
On. Yeah.
So we failed that together, and then we were like, okay, what else can we do? Is we tried like horseback riding.
Oh.
Which I would say is not something either of us should ever be allowed to do.
That's not something I'm interested in at all.
We like literally rode these horses. Her horse was in front of mine, and it spooked my horse.
Oh no.
So her horse was being really slow, and it kept like
out.
kind of, you know, holding us back, and then her horse completely spooked mine because it got a little startled, and then my horse tried to buck me off. Like I'm literally holding on for dear life.
Kind of traumatizing. You bet on a horse since?
No,
absolutely
I not.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't even go close to them.
I don't even want to look at them.
No, and I actually think horses are really scary.
Oh, I'm terrified of horses.
They're so big. Like when you see like the mounted police.
Yeah, no,
I'm like, that's sort of wild.
They're scary. I did one summer at camp. You could do like, it's like at my normal summer camp, but you could do like horse camp.
Totally.
So like instead of doing fun things like canoeing or whatever, you just rode horses for your activity.
Oh my God, awesome.
And it was one of the worst times of my life.
Totally.
Like, and you like had to wear jeans because you were riding horse in it. It was hot.
Yeah.
You had to scoop their poop.
Probably
and I was like, I don't want to.
You had to scoop their poop?
Yeah, they made us do everything. And I was like, this is not actually what I want at all. So ever since then, I've been sworn off horses.
Yeah, we're not horse girls.
No, not horse girls.
We're the opposite.
That's a big statement here.
Yeah.
No horse girls.
Anti. I know. And it's nothing even against horse girls. It's something against horses.
It's the horses.
I just can't get down with that love.
I really can't.
No, and they kind of smell, and like I just don't. I find them very intimidating.
Yeah, they're very scary. They're unpredictable.
They are,
and that's okay. They can be, but not around me.
No, but yeah, that was kind of our camp experience. I wouldn't say either of us had like a great time.
No, that's
we
fair.
sort of were sworn off it after that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But I do like the activities that they do, like the thought exercises.
Yes,
they
those
make
are
you
fun.
do.
Cabin bonding.
Definitely. It's a good way to get to know people.
Yeah.
And for me, in this podcast in particular, it's also like, you know, my podcast is Pessimistic at best because I love to complain. I think it's hilarious.
I love to be a hater.
I really do. Hater energy all the way. And I'm good at it.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's easy to hate on things. And so, unfortunately. But James always tells me I complain too much. So I was like, I'll channel that into this.
Yes.
And we'll do like this little thought exercise. So I would love to know your like rose and a thorn and bud.
Okay, perfect.
Do you do bud?
Yes.
Of today.
Okay, of today. I think my thorn is how hot it is.
Oh my God,
I mean, that's
same.
just kind of a given.
I'm literally dripping right
I was
now.
like, I'm sweating a lot right now. So if you are watching this,
we're
sorry. So sorry. But I think it is supposed to be nicer tomorrow. So.
I think so too.
Anyway, so the heat is definitely my thorn. My rose, I feel like besides the obvious of coming here and doing this, is so fun. And the meal you made.
Oh my God, that was actually a delicious dinner.
So good. Oh gosh, what else was a rose today? I don't know if I mean, this is the highlight of my day, honestly.
Perfect.
This was so great. I loved this.
Amazing.
And then my bud is probably for the trip that I'm going on.
Totally. That's going to be so fun.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun.
I've never been to either Greece or Italy.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
And I feel like you're going at a good time of year.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be crazy hot, which is...
Right, you're escaping it.
I'm leaving the crazy hot.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be like in the 80s, which is...
Perfect.
Gorgeous. That's all I need. So yeah.
And you're going to have some good food.
I'm going to eat well, have some nice wine. I just want to be posted up at like one of those little like wire tables
I can
in like a
it
plaza
now.
And just sit there for hours.
I
That's
know.
all I want to be up
That's
to.
like, the European way.
Yeah.
It's
just
nice.
slow.
I know. I do envy that. I wish we embodied a little more of that over
I'm
here.
honestly not so great at it.
Yeah.
You know, when we went to Spain last year and Sophia met up with us, she yelled at us like because Kira and I were just like on like our like Chicago like
we're on the move.
Yeah, like we're moving. We are walking fast to get to where we're going. And Sophia was like 10 feet behind us. She's like, girls, like you've got to slow down. She's like swinging her arms. She's like, you cannot be walking that fast here.
Oh my God, her swinging her arms. I can picture it now. The thing is, she was even like that in Madison.
Yes. Yeah. She's always been on that European lifestyle.
To be on kind of a slower pace.
She's not in a rush.
And she is very comfortable walking much further back from the group.
Yeah, no, she doesn't care.
She'll make her statement
She was
known.
like, you're embarrassing me with how fast you guys are moving.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Love her.
Yeah.
Miss that girl.
Miss her.
And she brought us together. Okay, well, I guess I'll start with my thorn as well. My thorn today was also how hot it was. And to be honest, like, there is something about, I think it's these AC units. I just don't remember the last time I was in a space that I inhabit feeling this fucking sweaty.
Hot. Yeah.
It's like sort of disconcerting because I'm in here and I'm like, I just feel like this, I pay to live here.
Yeah. Why do I feel uncomfortable in my own
like
home?
it here?
Yeah.
So that sucks. Rose today actually was probably the meal that we made.
So good.
James and I have been trying to cook a little more. I wouldn't say either of us like love it.
Yeah.
So we're practicing.
No, so shout out Half Baked Harvest.
Truly.
Incredible.
Tegan knows her shit.
So good.
She does have a lot of ingredients in every recipe.
Yeah, she loves some prep work.
She does.
Yeah.
Well, and she loves to like hit the like, oh, it'll be, 30 minutes total, but it's like, but 3 of the things have to be done first.
Right. Yeah. So
like the corn today, I was like, we got to make this now.
Yeah, we got to put those bad boys in the oven.
Or she'll be like, okay, already grilled chicken, like these things. And I'm like, okay, well.
I'm like, okay, well then add that in the prep time, babes.
Please.
Like,
not all of us are pre-grilling our chicken.
Got a job.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's part of it too. Like as someone who, especially in Madison where like eating out was a little cheaper, when I got home from the end of a work day, I was like, the last thing I feel like doing is
cooking,
slaving away over the stove. So like, Yeah. But I think also here, one, it's a little more expensive. Two, we actually do have a pretty nice kitchen. So I'm like, we don't really have an excuse anymore.
Yeah, it is a gorgeous kitchen.
Thank you. And our last one was like, we had like this much counter space.
Yeah, that's what I'm working with right now. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't want to be in here. Like,
no, it's not fun.
No.
And so, but yeah. So that's that. I think that was definitely the roast, and it actually turned out pretty good. I think we have some leftovers.
Oh.
And I would say, Bud, I'm actually very much looking forward to James's show. Yes. By the time y'all listen to this, that will have passed. But it's going to be fun. It's been a little bit since we've been back in Madison. Yeah. It's been a long time since he's done a show there. And it's at one of our favorite bars, which is the Rigby, a silly little dive bar.
Yeah, it's going to be so fun.
It's going to draw a crazy crowd. And I have a couple of, like, my study abroad friend is like going to be in town too, just by happenstance. So it'll be fun. I'm excited.
So fun.
And it'll be hilarious to have like both of our parents at the show.
Yeah. Hey,
hopefully they have fun. Yeah. It's a parent friendly bar.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's parent friendly music
necessarily. Yeah.
There was actually one time my mom and I went to the Rigby because Sophia's mom was like in the Peace Corps.
Yeah.
And so they had like a Madison Peace Corps like chapter meetup or something, and she did like, not like, it was like slam poetry or something, like on this mic, and it was like all these Peace Corps people, and me and my mom went, and we just got super drunk, and it was so fun. So it's like, the Rigby's a funny little place.
Like there's things happening there.
There are so many things happening. But thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
This was so fun despite the absolutely insane heat. And thank you guys for listening or watching if that's what you're doing. And if you are watching, I'm so sorry.
So sorry. We really apologize.
We're just a couple of sweaty
gals.
But thank you so much, and we will be back with another one next week. Bye. Another cathartic convo in the books. I feel better. How about you? Thank you so much for listening. Now I just want to jump on here and say, don't forget to follow and or subscribe to the pod on your favorite streaming platform for new episodes every single week, because I know you can't get enough of me. Additionally, if you want to gain access to exclusive episodes and lots of other goodies, join our Patreon and support the pod with your hard-earned American dollars. You can find the link in our show notes, or you can also visit us at patreon.com/pessimistic@best. And of course, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at pessimistic@best. And if you're as obsessed with me as I am with you, you can find me at Sam Georgeson on all platforms. And last but not least, I'd like to give a special shout out to my podcast editor and producer, the love of my life, James Arbai, whom I literally could not do this without. So thank you, James. I love you so much. And thank you guys for joining me again this week. I love you too, and I cannot wait to chat with you again soon.